What's up, everybody?
Hi.
What's up, Adventure Nation? Welcome to Humpday Live Q&A.
Happy early Thanksgiving.
Yes.
By the way, everybody.
Since we probably won't see you guys tomorrow, before we get too far into this, I'm going to be looking down tonight at my computer, trying to keep it out of the way of the camera because I've got a bad word on my computer and people don't like it. So I'm keeping it out of the camera.
Oh my God.
Don't want to offend anybody, but
so we know actually the topic today. It's a hot topic anyway, so it's gonna, I think, create some controversy because some people love boondocking, some people hate boondocking, some people have their own opinions about boondocking. We're gonna give you our opinion,
which isn't worth the paper it's not written on.
But also, I want to hear your opinion about, like, towards the end. I mean, not right now. Don't worry about it. It's about towards the end. We would love to hear your opinion about boondocking. And also, we're going to ask questions. We would like to hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah. So can everybody hear us? I would like to maybe put this microphone, Lori,
Linda
close
Tripp
to you.
says, like, what's a bad word?
No, now I can't show you, Linda, because it'll offend people.
I think it's fine there. I think you guys are hearing me okay, right? But anyway.
I don't know. Chuck's in the house. Belfado's
Carl
in the house.
says
Dennis,
yes,
Tim, Aid.
loud and clear.
Everybody's in?
So,
Cool.
yes.
Cool. Well, if Chris says it's loud and clear, then everybody else must be able to hear us as well. You may hear a little bit of rain on the roof. We are currently in Benson, Arizona, which is east of Tucson.
And it's raining.
And it is
like crazy.
Raining to beat the band.
I'm actually happy that we pulled over for the live because it was raining pretty bad. So
yeah. Give you guys a quick update. Our coach was fixed on Monday, kind of, sort of. Tuesday, we had to go back and try to get a jack fixed, but couldn't. And so we
left, basically.
We left. We just said, we got to get out of here. So we're going to have them ship a part down. The accident wound up taking out the gas tank and the rear jack, but we found out in the process it also took out the front right jack. So we're going, why are you kicking me? I'm explaining to people. She's already kicking me like I'm doing stuff. I'm giving them a quick update. Do you see what I have to put up with here, folks?
I don't want to cut him off. That's why I just go under the table. There's no table.
No, they can see you kicking me now.
No, they don't.
All right, but anyways, we're out on the road, and we still have one jack that's broken, so we don't have the ability to level. We're on our way to El Paso, Texas for Thanksgiving with our families. So.
Actually, my mom is connected. Hola, mami.
Hola, Vero.
Yeah, people said they're like, it's raining in San Diego, in Phoenix. Oh, Phoenix not raining yet, but it's getting there, I'm sure. But anyway, let's get into the topic. Boondocking.
Boondocking, absolutely. So, one of the questions we get a lot is boondocking safe? And here's what I can tell you. I don't know what your definition of safe is. Like, everybody has a different definition of what is safe. I ride a bicycle without a helmet. I'm okay with that. I find that safe. Some people are not okay with that. You guys see us kayaking all the time because we feel we're within a swimmable distance to shore. We feel safe doing that. Some people don't. It all depends on what your definition of safe is, what your comfort zone is. Mm-hmm. I'm going to show you guys something though, and I don't want to put a downer on everybody or scare anybody, but I'm going to show you guys some statistics on home invasions. So this is for you folks who are living in a house that think that RVing might be a little bit unsafe.
And we're going to explain after this some bad experiences that we have had.
Yeah,
so you can assess, like, for yourself.
We will talk about a bad experience. So I am going to share a tab here. And when we go here. So if we look here, these are property crime facts. And even if these things are off by a few percentage points in either direction, you know what? I'm going to go full screen. We don't need to see ourselves. So even if we go look through these, a property crime every 4 seconds, a burglary every 20 seconds, a violent crime every 25 seconds. And you can see aggravated assaults and robberies and so on and so forth. Now, here's the scary one. Home invasion crime statistics. 38% of assaults and 60% of rapes occurred during a home invasion. So for people that sit at home and go, oh my God, RVing is so not safe, or boondocking is so not safe, I feel much safer. I'm sure Lori will tell you this as well, that we feel safe out boondocking.
Are you done with the stats?
One more.
Give my opinion after you're done.
Yeah, one more. So 2 million homes will experience a break-in or burglary, 4,500 home burglaries per day in the United States, and 1.3 million a year between 1994 and 2010. So you can see that stuff happens.
Yeah, one time we got into a discussion with some friends about, because they said we will never do it. For us, it's totally unsafe. And we got into a debate, and we like to have discussions with people. I mean, have debates. We don't call them fights. We call it, it's like everybody obviously has their own opinion about it, and we're just discussing our points. And they said, it's like, I don't feel safe if somebody breaks into my RV. I don't feel safe if I come back home and somebody is like laying down on my bed sleeping or something like that. And we are like, the likelihood of that happening, and we're not talking about Walmart, so we're not talking about that. We're talking about actually going to the mountains and going to the desert and boondock. The likelihood of actually somebody running into you, it's pretty much not likely. They will really have to get out of the way to actually get to your RV and break into your RV. It's like, that's not very likely. It's more likely to actually that happen in a city.
Now, with that being said, everybody's going to jump on the bandwagon about the New Hampshire couple on Padre Island. That is one thing that we've heard about in the 3 years we've been on the road. That can happen at a 7-Eleven. It can happen to a couple coming out of a Walmart. It could happen at your house. That can literally happen anywhere, and it happens all the time. I just saw on here, Summit Dave says he scuba dives and skydives. There's a lot of people that go, oh, hell no, that's not safe. But if you do it within your comfort zone, you'll be fine. Now, I saw a lot of discussions on Facebook earlier about being aware of your surroundings and stuff like that. So we will tell you a story and a couple of stories of what happened to us and what we did in those situations. So I'm going to get rid of the crime stats where that's scary stuff, and we don't need to see that.
People comment, and Kellen, we knew this was going to happen, actually, about the Texas incident.
Yeah, the Texas incident. One incident. Like, come on.
And how many years?
And how many years and how many years? There's over 1 million people currently, according to some stats, 1 million people that currently live in RVs in the United States, and that's one incident. So to me, it's a terrible thing, and it's a bad thing that happened, but that is not the end all be all of RVing.
They were targeted, and it's in a heavily populated area. There's a lot of RVers and people around, so it's like they were really targeted.
And we will talk about that kind of as we go through these two stories. So how long was it after we first started?
Well, just like a quick comment. The breeze that Chuck says is like, I am on South Padre Island right now. Should other people be worried?
Yes, Chuck is there, so be careful, folks. So I think it was probably, I don't think we had our coach for about a month. And we decide, hey, we're going to try this boondocking thing, and we're going to go up to the mountains outside of Las Vegas. And we went up to Mount Charleston, and we drove out this dirt road up onto the top of this mesa, and we had just a gorgeous view over this area up in the mountains, down into this valley. And the sun was setting, and it was just the oranges and reds and stuff were out. It was just absolutely gorgeous desert sunset, where we were kicking back, watching a little bit of TV, and had the slides out and everything, just relaxing. Nobody out there for miles, when all of a sudden a pickup truck comes just flying down the road, kicking dirt up everywhere, turns out to the little turnout where we are, and parks literally 20-30 feet away from our RV.
So
they've got music blasting. 4 people get out, 3 guys and a girl. The guys start peeing outside of the truck. They're throwing garbage out of their truck on the ground. I told Lorraine, I said,
they were provoking.
They were looking for us to say something to provoke an incident. I told Lori, I said, let's just stay here, lay low, just kind of keep an eye on them. If they come near the door, I told her, you head to the back, and I will worry about what happens when they open the door. So we waited for a second. They were smoking and, screaming and yelling and just obnoxious. And they wind up leaving and going out the road. That road we knew dead ended, and they had to come back. It was getting dark at that point in time. We said, nope, this isn't going to happen. We dropped the, pulled the slides in, dropped the jacks back up, and off we went. We left.
Mm-hmm. And that goes to RV Wandering, Tom and Fair here, actually. Hi, guys. And they're saying we boondock all the way across Canada and only fell unsafe once. Guess what? We moved. And that's what we did. We moved.
Right. Time. Be very, very aware of your situation. Somebody said that on Facebook earlier. Situational awareness. And they talked about spidey senses. Use your spidey senses, guys. If you don't feel comfortable in a spot, leave. Another incident. Lori had read some statistics on, or read some reviews on the Walmart, I think in Amarillo for us. Yeah, Amarillo for us non-Spanish speakers. And so we were in Amarillo, and I'm like, it's Walmart. I don't care what they say. We're going to go stay there.
Yeah. So I read a lot about reviews and policies. I saw Walmart. How bad can it be, right? There's always security around and stuff like that. But anyway.
We pulled into the parking lot. One, the parking lot was really kind of sloped, so I knew we would have a hard time getting level. And then two, it was sketchy. Like I just got a weird feeling about the place. And so we left. We went down the road to this brightly lit Sam's Club. And we had a great night. Plus, we had Home Depot right there, so we used their Wi-Fi, which was awesome.
So sometimes it's like listen to your gut. Just look around, see the cars around you and the people around you, and see if you feel safe or not. And if not, just move to a totally different place. And after that, we went to a Cracker Barrel. We didn't stay there either, and then it's when we found the sand. So it's like it wasn't until the third stop that we actually found a place that we liked.
Now, with that being said, the only time we have had any issues whatsoever, really, and one just recently, and we'll tell you about that, was in campgrounds. Yeah. It's literally we almost had our bicycles stolen at a KOA campground in Niagara Falls, Canada. I don't know why they stopped taking them, but I went to hook up the dolly in the morning, and the bicycles were unstrapped, and they had tried to take the bikes off. I think it's because I had a cable wrapped around it, so they couldn't get to it, so they gave up. But I'm like, why are the bicycles hanging off? And I said, Lori, did you unstrap these? And then I just looked at them like, oh, somebody tried to take our bikes last night. The other incident was just about 3 or 4 days ago in the Thousand Trails in Las Vegas. And we get a knock on our door at 8 a.m. And our neighbor, this is 8 o'clock in the morning, gang. It's bright sunshiny day out. We don't normally see 8 a.m., but knock on our door. So we're like, what the heck's going on? Our neighbor says, hey, somebody just got out of your car. And we were like, what? And he said, somebody literally just got out of your car. There was 3 young kids out here, and one of them was in your car. We leave the car open every now and then because there's nothing in there. We lock it as much as possible, but we forget. We don't
leave anything in the car.
We don't leave anything in there.
We travel and go to so many places so much. We don't want parking lots or anything. People just looking through the window and see something that they want. So we on purpose don't leave anything in the car.
Yeah, it gives them no excuse to break in and get stuff.
This time happened not to be locked.
Right. And so somebody went in the car. The campground, they had notified the campground. The campground host came in, and the kids went up over about a 10 or a 15-foot retaining wall that has 3 rows of barbed wire on the top, or barbed wire. And the lady says to me, I can't believe they went over the barbed wire. And I just laughed. I'm like, it's an illusion. It is an illusion of safety, folks, that there is a guard-gated community, a walled RV park, barbed wire on the top. It is all an illusion of safety. So just because you're in those places, don't feel safe. I feel the safest when we are out in the middle of absolutely nowhere and there's nobody around us. Now, I will say the first night we did it, you feel weird because there's nothing around you. There's no lights, nothing. But then you start to get used to that, and it's really a calming.
I think it was because we were coming from a city, from Las Vegas, so much hustle and bustle and lights and cars everywhere at all times, all the time. That when we went and stay at a place where there is no noise, everything is pitch black outside, you feel like there's eyes outside, but they're looking inside your RV somehow. So we always are paranoid about like close the windows, close everything. And I know a lot of people that they don't like actually to close anything, knowing that they're in the middle of nowhere. They like to see or just feel like it's all open. Us, we get a little bit paranoid, we close everything because we just feel like exposed. But at some point you a little bit get over it, and you
get used to it.
Go to the most amazing places with no people around you, privacy. You can like go outside your door in your PJs to have a cup of coffee, and you don't have your neighbors like slide or window right next to you. So that's one of the upsides of boondocking, and I think that's why we love it so much
Right.
because of some places in nature. I mean, you guys have seen it in some of our videos. Some of the places we go in nature, they're just pretty.
Right.
And I know that you guys might have like a lot of places that you love. So if you have a boondocking spot for us, let us know.
Yeah, I will say that even this time in Vegas, we were in Vegas for 2 or 3 weeks, and then we went out to Lake Mead,
Yes.
and it was so quiet. It's eerie, and it's awesome. It is
It's
awesome.
awesome.
So is boondocking safe? I believe it is. You have to be aware of
Yes.
your surroundings, make sure you're aware of the situation, and if you feel uncomfortable, get the heck out.
With that being
And I would say
said,
that anywhere you go.
I will say one thing. It's like I'm the one that sometimes looks for these spots, so I will read and read and read
Right.
reviews.
Right.
Like you sometimes will have 20 reviews, 30 reviews, or even if it's just 5 or 6. And most of them are good and there is one bad. Usually I will see if it's just like just a pity thing, just like the neighbor's dog was barking and I didn't like that. I mean, that's not like for me that's not a big deal.
Yeah, if there's 20 good ones and one bad one,
But
that's
if
just
it's
a whiner.
the opposite, if I see 4, 5, 6 and they're complaining about the same thing, sketchy people around, or it was just too noisy of a place or stuff like that, then I'm aware of it. And usually I will not take that boondocking spot and just find something that it will work for us.
Right. So let's go through comments now. We've rambled enough. Man, we rambled a lot.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through some comments. How many times have we... Okay, so I'm going to start off with Ted Denman. Ted's a longtime viewer. I'm going to start off with him because he just happens to be at the top of our screen here. So Ted says, how many times you've moved boondocking spots? Once. And that was that very first time outside of Las Vegas up in Mount Charleston. That's it.
In Amarillo.
Well, that's not boondocking. That's flat topping in the middle of the city.
Let's call it, let's say, boondocking, flat topping, like dry camping and all that kind
When
of stuff.
I really think boondocking, I think out away from the city.
Yes.
And when we've been out away from the city, not one time, 0 times have we moved. Not one time.
It will be the one in Mount Charleston.
Yeah, the one in Mount Charleston.
But that's about it. Like, yeah, in the middle of nowhere, we have never felt unsafe.
Yeah. I always feel more uneasy in a campground with a bunch of other people around. I've hardly ever locked my bays when we're out boondocking, and I always lock them when we're in a campground because it's easier access for a lot more people than when you're out boondocking. Like Lori said earlier, somebody has to stumble upon you to know that you're even there. When we were out next to the Great Salt Lake, we were out so far away from town. You wouldn't even have seen that we were there unless you happened to see a light on somewhere.
I don't think it's cost effective for the people stealing stuff from you. Now, the other crazy stuff happening, including the couple in Canada that got killed in their van, I think those are just crazy accidents. Those are just like people are being targeted, and there's crazy people out there, definitely, but they're going to target you whether you're in an RV or you're in a house.
Right.
It's like there's no difference, or even if you're in a campground.
Yeah, crazy isn't going to just, crazy doesn't care what you're in. Ralph, I agree with you. Ralph says lock it and they'll just break the window. And that's why sometimes you just leave it open. Lori Lust, you're responsible for your own safety. I agree. And be aware, like the thing that happened in Texas, I'm assuming that this other couple befriended them and then stuff went south. Be careful about that. If we're the only ones out in the middle of nowhere and another couple wants to be in our RV with us late at night and I don't know you, not going to happen. Not going to happen. It's just not. Where it's like starting to get a little bit late. Hey guys, time for you to hit it because you're putting yourself at risk, especially if there's nobody else around.
And I have to say too, is like we have noticed the more places we go, the more boondockers are out there. So most likely you're not going to be by yourself.
Right.
There's always the safety numbers kind of thing. We actually prefer to be by ourselves, but even in Lake Mead, somebody mentioned Anthony about like they were on Lake Mead and they were like blasting rap until 9 p.m. We noticed when we went this last time to Government Wash, everybody gathered. Like they were all like cramped on the very top. And Paul and I, we just took our time, went closer and closer to a lake until we have almost nobody around us, just only one fifth wheel. That was it. And it was just so much calm over there. So sometimes if you have nosy neighbors, maybe you move to a different spot.
Right,
too.
but like Anthony said, that's in a campground. So it's in a campground, and so...
Oh, in a campground.
Yeah.
So not even Government Wash, no.
Jason says his most dangerous moment is getting through the pre-Thanksgiving line at Costco earlier today. Yeah, I agree.
Thanksgiving, right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, somebody, Gold Dust Woman says kids in the neighborhood go through cars looking for one that's unlocked. Absolutely. So if it's unlocked and you leave stuff in there, then you're looking for trouble. So
yeah, Todd has. Oh, well, continue.
yeah. Let me see here. Question. If I miss your question, guys,
Say,
just put it back in at the bottom because I'm. It's tough for us to get to everybody. They scroll through so fast.
that one.
Do you have any concerns leaving the coach when you leave in the car? We just lock it up and
yes. I'm not gonna lie.
I would say there are times. Yeah.
There is, I think, depending on the boondocking spot, mostly we have too many neighbors around. I think, like, I get more concerned when there's too many neighbors around because they're seeing when you're living, when you're there.
Right.
That when we don't have anybody around, because we leave also sometimes the smaller windows open for Ozzy to have some breeze with the fans and all that stuff. So, yes, sometimes it's a little bit of concern, but again, it's like,
you got to have faith in people
at some point
and just let go. I mean,
but at the same time,
and know that something could happen.
It's the same scenario in a campground, right? It's like they know when we're there, when we leave, they see the car, they don't see the car.
It's the same thing in your house. Statistically, almost all break-ins, 90% of break-ins happen between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. when they know you're at work. Mm-hmm. So the same thing happens in the house. You leave your house, you lock the door, and again, folks, locking your stuff, that doesn't mean anything. It's just it just takes them an extra few seconds to go through the lock.
Yeah, but I think that's
always, lock your stuff up.
I think us, we're always concerned about when we leave, regardless if we're in a boondocking spot or in a campground, we're always concerned when we leave. It's just part of it.
Yeah.
And mostly because the locks of these doors in the RVs and the windows, I mean, it's like they can be broken into.
Silky pointed out the most dangerous boondocking was staying at a crazy German's house in Vancouver. I think that's probably true.
We were about this to move.
Yeah, we were really uncomfortable there. Very uncomfortable.
Silky and your
an alarm on the RV, you could do that.
Yes, we have actually considered changing the lock in our RV to a totally different one because I don't know if you know, guys, but a lot of the locks are kind of like the same keys.
Yes.
So sometimes it's like people that even different brands of RVs can probably sometimes open your door as well.
I know that our door can be opened by Kevin. That scares me. His key works in our door. One day we didn't have a key or something, and he tried his and it worked. It's kind of crazy. Okay, now this is Azuma Linda. I think it's Linda Azuma maybe, but this person said, I feel safer boondocking than when my wife is driving our rig. I can't help you there, man. I'm out.
Oh my God.
I'm out.
It's like somebody's not having dinner tonight. But
all right.
I saw another one about also about safety. I would say it's like a lot of you people also you have your own guns. If you're gun people, we have our pepper ball. Mm-hmm. And that's why we have it. It's like usually when we're boondocking, we will have it handy with us, or walking around the RV at night, we will have it handy with us, just in case. But I mean, we have not used it or felt like the need of using it, not even once.
Kim Smith's in the house. So Kim says they stayed 6 nights in the, I'm assuming that's Michow Forest in Pennsylvania. The worst thing was a guy dropped by daily after work to drop off 2 beer cans on the ground and then left. Yeah. That's always going to happen. And again, we did a little pickup even out at Lake Mead just when we were just out there. It was basic stuff though. There were some beer bottle caps and things like that. It actually was pretty clean out there. I was surprised because we saw a lot of reviews that said that it was getting dirty out there. We didn't experience that. Okay, red white maple. This is guys. I'll tell you, I'm not a big pet fan. Like I just. Yeah, I put up with Ozzy because it's Lori's here.
She's lovely.
And Ozzy's cool, but, the dogs are tough to take care of, I think, or they're a pain in the ass to take care of. But they say they have a 62-kilogram dog. That's because they're Canadians. They don't know how to use pounds there. Use your keys alarm if you have a trailer with a tow vehicle. If you hear a noise, push the panic alarm. Absolutely. Here's the thing. If you have a dog, I think you're a lot less likely to get broken into. If someone touches the RV and the dog barks, that's going to scare people away. they don't know what size dog's on the other side of the door, and I think that's a really good deterrent. So a dog, I think, is a good alarm system.
It's good alarm system.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ozzy will be just purring today, whoever's coming in.
Doug, did you have any concerns while you're traveling through Alaska? None whatsoever. Concerns as far as safety or anything?
Well,
no.
that's what we're talking.
Yeah.
Safety and boondocking.
None.
It's like none at all.
We really, to be honest with you, Doug, have not had any safety concerns in North America. That includes the United States, Canada, Alaska, which is obviously part of the United States, and Baja. We really have not had any safety concerns. I am a paranoid dude. When I walk into a restaurant, I assess doors, I look at exits, I am watching the front door. When I sit down, I face the front door. It's all ridiculous paranoia from when I was a kid, and we had our little cliques and stuff, and you wanted to see who was coming and going. But I still do that. And for me, it's just situational awareness. What's going to happen? How can I limit my exposure? And we do the same thing with the RVing, is limit our exposure. Paranoia.
It's funny. Ray is like, he says that thieves who broke into my RV stole my dog's collar and left the dog.
Okay, that's crazy.
That's kind of weird, actually.
Wait a second. Broke into my RV, stole my dog's collar, and left the dog. Wow, that's a strange theft there.
I don't know. But for example, for you guys, I have a question for you guys. When you just say put that letter, you say yes, or do you guys? How many of you guys boondock? Because I'm curious, about other people that usually they don't boondock, so they can see there's a lot of people
so
out
that
there.
They can see there's a lot of people.
Because we can see more and more and more places that sometimes when we boondocked before in Vegas 3 years ago when we started around there, almost nobody did. Now it's they're packed with people. They're packed.
Right.
So it's getting more and more popular. So most likely you're not going to be by your own. You're going to be with other full-timers. And in the winter, oh my God, Southwest, I will say, is just full of snowbirds. Not a bad thing. You can do amazing friends and amazing neighbors. Right.
I just want to read this from Patty Tittle. All we do is dry camping in Alaska, live 20 years and camp the whole time. Never once were we concerned. Most because they are armed, and it's the first lesson somebody learns with bad intentions. Yes, absolutely. Oh my God, Kevin Miller's in the house. You're here. Wait a second. Kevin's on a cruise ship somewhere in the middle of the Bahamas, and yet he's here. That's amazing.
Wow. We feel honored.
Yeah, honored. Chuck, he spends so much time boondocking.
A lot of people, like I said, a lot of boondockers, and they can tell you their experiences, and they might have one. I think the worst experience about boondocking is just the trash around, but that's pretty much it. It's besides that, it's there's nothing to be concerned about if you read the reviews. And I will say it over and over again, read the reviews. I will tell you a lot about the place. Coming down from Bryce towards Las Vegas, we went through Cedar City, and there's one boondocking place that we were kind of somewhat planning on staying, and then after reading reviews we were heck no, we're not staying there. So it's I cannot express enough. Read the reviews. Right. Campendium, All Stays, freecampsites.net, iOverlander. I mean, all this will give you boondocking spots. Read the reviews and see the pictures. You can also see the pictures and see how it looks like as well.
Ray, that's a really good point. If you get broken into, have insurance on the contents if you don't own a house. Yeah, make sure that your insurance in your RV, especially if you're full-timing, covers contents, because you've got to make sure that stuff is right, because they will do everything in their power to make sure that they don't take care of it if they can get away with that. So that's a great tip, Ray. I appreciate that.
Full-timers insurance will cover the belongings in your RV versus just your travelers. If you're just a part-timer, sometimes it doesn't cover that.
Right.
Now I have a question for you guys. Who is not into boondocking? It's kind of borderline wanting to boondock, but is still concerned. That's why you came to the live to see if other people are doing it or something like that. I'm just
what, or maybe a concern.
Yeah, I'm curious if you have a concern or still have a concern, or how many of you are not interested at all.
And you realize that by asking that question, we're going to go over our 30 minutes tonight.
No.
Yeah, it's 1 minute. We can't just stop now. So we're gonna have to go 45 minutes tonight.
No,
we're gonna go. Let's go an extra few minutes. An extra 5.
Extra 5.
Okay, we're going an extra 5. But Kevin came in and stole the show. Kevin shows up, and everyone's like, "Happy Thanksgiving, Kevin." He just steals the show. What the hell? He just hijacked our life. It's awesome. No, we love Kevin. He's awesome. Kevin is not in the USA. He's on a cruise ship somewhere. Kevin, where are you?
In a badass cruise ship, by the way.
I'd love to, but the boss is freaked out about it. So
and
Brian,
that happens a lot, I would say.
We were freaked out the first time. We were like you. One of the first times we did it was out near Carlsbad, New Mexico, and we were up on the top of this mountain, and we'd driven up into an area that we had no business being in, of course. And we were up at a high elevation, and it was a brutal thunderstorm that night. What the hell?
Ozzy! Just grab it quick.
Well, we're done.
No, it's not. You guys can't hear us. I think
you can still hear us. Ozzy went and
just knocked down the camera because he's running like little loon back and forth. Oh my god, that was okay. It's not funny, but it's funny. You guys know what I'm saying.
It is not funny.
Let's see if it comes back the camera, but it's still rolling. It's still going.
All right. Well, hopefully you guys can still hear us and know that Ozzy just went nuts inside of the.
Turned on somehow.
He went nuts inside of the. There we go. Hopefully we're back. Jeez,
we're
Ozzy,
all like crooked.
What a psychopath. Now we're gonna be a little bit.
Now
crooked,
he's all spook. He's like in the corner, like, what did they do? I don't know. What did they do?
That's awesome. Never a dull moment. You will pay for that, my friend.
What was that about? You were saying about pets?
Yeah, pets, guys. Aren't pets wonderful?
I think he's funny.
Okay, so Brian, yeah. So the first time we did it was scary, not only because we were up on this hill in the middle of nowhere, the thunder, the lightning. It was like the thunder was so hardcore that it was shaking the RV, and we're out in the middle of nowhere. So it was freaky. And the fact that, you can see out and people can see in, or you can't see out, people can see in, but you do it a couple of times, man, and you will hardly ever want to go to a campground again because you have so much more space and it's just awesome. I mean, it's just really, really cool.
Okay.
So a few more minutes. So who else? Anybody else?
A lot of people are saying Happy Thanksgiving. I kind of like already.
Somebody thought their travel trailer was flipping over.
Oh, look at this guy. He's right here now.
Okay, here's a question from Randy. He said, just wanted to wish us a happy Thanksgiving. And are we going to break from our norm and eat some turkey tomorrow? No.
Vegan turkey.
Not going to happen. Yes, vegan. There's vegan turkey. It's one of the
Gardein.
And turkeys or something.
Field roast has, and I can't remember which one is the other one. But
maybe I'll go to Carl's Jr. and have a Beyond Burger.
I'm going to do a meatloaf with all the fixings, but I'm going to do a meatloaf. And we were going to spend the Thanksgiving with my family in Mexico. And we just remembered today I don't have a passport as a new American citizen, still not here yet. So I'm not going to be able to cross the border. Yeah,
Lori can't cross the border now. Her Mexican passport isn't really any good anymore because she's an American citizen. So, yeah, that's kind of crazy. So,
wow. So I think...
Jason, and then behind you, Jackie says, yeah, you goofball. So, Jason, I was in Carson City IHOP in 2011, one day before the shooter killed 4 people. You never know when something could happen, so don't worry about it. Yeah, again, one of the reasons our friends Richard and Cheryl, and I don't know how many of you guys know this, one of the reasons they started RVing is they were at the Route 91 festival on the Las Vegas Strip when the guy open fired with a high-power rifle into the crowd, killing 50-some-odd people. One woman just died within the last couple of weeks from her injury. So, that was one of those moments to them, like, life is too short. Life is too short, and I can't just sit in my house and be afraid all the time. And you can't just worry about that stuff all the time. Be aware of your surroundings. Make sure you don't put yourself in harm's way. And just if your gut is telling you that you shouldn't be there, leave. You have wheels on your house.
It happened in El Paso and at Walmart. So you never know when crazy stuff is going to happen. Like we said before, there's a lot of crazies out there. And doesn't matter where you are or if you're boondocking, if you're in the city, crazies are out there. And
Yeah.
Stephen T says, I believe boondocking is more a West Coast thing, not a lot of East Coast. We totally agree.
I totally agree with that.
Last week, actually, that's one thing I forgot to mention when we did the Harvest Host video, that you will use it more on the East Coast because there's no boondocking.
Right.
So you will go and use a lot of Harvest Host.
Right.
So yes, it's more of a West Coast thing. And I think that's about it.
And then Randy said he's had tofu turkey before and it's horrible. Yeah, the tofu, I'm not a big tofu turkey fan, but the other turkey stuff and the meatloaf that Lori does with the fake meat stuff is pretty cool. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Happy early Thanksgiving. Thank you guys again for joining us on these lives. We're going to continue to try to pick some topics that we feel are interesting, that gets the conversation flowing and a debate. And, we can argue about it if we want, but we like to say it's a debate and a discussion. We love having those with you folks. And we learn as much from you guys, hopefully, as you guys learn from us. So
thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. And we'll see you actually last Saturday
live. Wow. And then I'll have a video out on Saturday. It's going to be kind of boring.
Saturday. And don't forget about Humpday Wednesday.
Yep. Bye, guys.
Okay, bye, guys.
Jackie, just before we go, Jackie, did we feel safe in Mexico? Absolutely, we did. We had no problems, and with kids, no problem at all.
Just too many parties.
Yeah. The mothers and kids that got killed. See, everyone takes that one thing and runs with it. So that stuff happens.
Just Google
all
how many
over.
Home invasions are killing
Google
our house.
home invasions and robberies and
stuff. You will be more afraid of being.
You're going to be afraid to be at home. See you
Bye,
guys. Bye. End broadcast.
Ended.
We'll see you guys in Florida.